Hey guys, it's me, Justin again. Hey guys, thank you for checking out JSB True. Jay Smith at jsbtrue.com. To thy own self, be true. I want to go over real quick just to, I can't start off that way without saying who I am. Hey guys, Justin Smith here. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Make sure please that you hit that subscribe button and that you like my Facebook, social media, all my social media stuff. That's important because we got to get this word spread out. So I just want to go over very quickly, actually, between a 5-10 minute video, some of the important things that we have to consider when opening up a business. So a lot of people have been reaching out to me and asking me, what it takes to open a business, what it entails. And I'm realizing that, a lot of us, especially I remember when I first did my first one, we kind of just go at it and try to get everything accomplished and without having any clear direction. So I want to make sure that I touch base with you guys on a couple of things that are very key before even considering whether to actually open the business or not. But just when you have that idea in your head, hey, you know what? I want to go into business for myself. What should I be thinking about? All right. So the first thing that I want to encourage everybody to think about is the industry. What industry do I want to work in, or do I want to own a business in? This is going to be extremely important because not every industry is as equally fair as the next. For example, not many restaurant businesses succeed after the first year. So if I gain the experience, the knowledge, the know-how to run a restaurant chain or to run a restaurant business, not run the actual day-to-day, but the overall operation, do I know what it takes? You're going to want to know, I'm not going to open up a dentistry and I have, my doctorate is in ophthalmology. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that you know your industry, that you're doing what's called market research and following what's called market trends, right? That's going to be important because you're going to want to know, is the field that I'm going to open up a business in, is it a field that's succeeding? Is it expanding? Is there room for growth? Is there room for me to come into that field? I'll give you guys a prime example. My business partner and I were looking into opening up a construction, part of our private equity firm. We were considering purchasing a construction company. And, we did research. We did months and months and months of research. And up until the point where we were actually going to go out and start doing the physical valuations of these companies, we decided, you know what? This market is not a market that we are going to excel our best at. And so we took literally about 4 or 5 months of research and we just pushed it away and said, you know what? Let's start from somewhere else. This is not conducive to what we want, to our vision of where we want to be. And so you have to be able to ask yourself that, and you have to be able to make that decision, which leads me to the next thing. How am I financially? Can I afford to open a business? Have I ever declared bankruptcy? Do I have any, debt right now? Can I afford to open up a business? Because, part of opening up the business is spending. You're going to spend a lot of money before you make money, no matter what industry you open up. This is because you have to have filing fees covered. You have to have attorney fees covered if you get to that point. You have to have, traveling, meals, all that, entertainment, for guests, depending on your specific industry. And so you have to say, hey, what's my budget? What's my realistic budget? Can I afford to work or can I afford to leave my job and focus solely on this business? My encouragement is always going to be no. If you're not making money from your business, then you are not making double what you make at work, right? So if you are making, let's say, $50,000 a year, if your business is not producing $100,000, then I do not believe you should ever quit until you are producing double your salary. And that's going to be a whole nother situation for a whole nother video. Another great tool to use is going to be the Calculate Your Startup Cost Calculator provided by the US SBA. That's the Small Business Administration. That's something that we're going to get familiar with when we start to talk about loans and grants. I provided a link in the description section, so head over and just play around with it so that way you can get a general idea of how much out-of-pocket money you're going to end up spending. Negative and positive, right? So industry budget, right? The next part of that is going to be, again, what are risks? What are the risks that I'm taking? What are the risks that I'm willing to take? How far am I willing to go to make sure that my vision is seen, right? The next thing you're gonna want to consider is your education. Did you graduate high school? Did you graduate college? Do you have some college? This is going to be important, not just for the loan part, but for the industry specific part. In the restaurant industry, you don't need a diploma to own a restaurant. You don't need a diploma, I guess, anywhere to own something if you have the money. But most industries, again, because of that education, you have to know what you're doing in order to own. For example, the private equity company, you can't just come in as anybody without having some kind of experience in that field, in the financial field, and open up a private equity company. You see what I'm saying? So education is going to play an important role. The next part is what are you doing career-wise? Are you working in an industry right now that's similar to what you're doing? Can you work where you are working while planning what you're planning? Is that going to go against your current company policy? Is that going to violate any rules, regulations of the law, things of that nature? So you have to ask yourself these types of questions, and they may not seem like they're that relevant, but they're extremely important. And I realize that some of it sounds kind of, well, who cares? If I graduated high school, again, it's all going to be important. The next question, are you a homeowner? Do you own your own home? When we think about loans and things like that, these are the questions that are going to come up anyway. So it's better to start asking yourself these questions. Especially with a business, are you in a position where you may one day have to put your home up against your business type of situation? What's your credit? What's not just your credit score, what's your credit history? A lot of banks and financial institutions, they're not just looking at your score. They want to know, how much do you owe? How much credit do you have? How long have you had it? How have you been responsible for it? How have you been irresponsible for it? So you're going to want to ask yourself these questions. The next one is going to be, have you declared bankruptcy? And this is one that I encourage you to really, really consider. If you declare bankruptcy, how did you get there? Why did you get there? And are you setting yourself up to do it again? Right? What is your investment budget? I think I talked about that earlier. What's your investment budget? How much money do I have? How much can I spend? How much can I afford to spend until I get to the point where I say, all right, I can't do this anymore. I have to go back to square one. Your veteran status. Have you served in the military, the Army, the Marines, Air Force? Because there are certain loans that are available to you if you have, right? And what state have you opened up, or are you opening up in? That's going to be important. Each state requires a different type of registration, a different fee for registration. So you're going to want to know those state applicable laws. So that way, I'm not preparing to open up a business, let's say in Alabama, and I'm here in Connecticut, and I'm thinking that I'm paying Connecticut fees and taxes when Alabama may or may not have those fees and taxes. So ultimately, what you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself again these questions that I listed here, and this is going to be the beginning part of planning out your business. Again, you see that none of these questions, with the exception of what industry, are specific to any operating plans that you may have for the business. This is important because, in a sense, we get so caught up in, all right, well, I want to own a store, a shoe store, right? And we get caught up in the idea of the shoe store, and we forget about the actual overall operation. One of the biggest things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to separate daily operation and overall operation, right? For now, until we get to the point of SOP, standard operating plan, forget about your daily operation. Forget about the name of your store. Forget about anything that has to do specifically with your store as far as daily operations. And let's focus on the overall. Let's focus on, can I afford to take care of this store? And I almost encourage you to think of it as a baby, right? A baby needs to eat. A baby needs to rest. A baby needs to grow, right? Can I afford mentally, emotionally, and financially to take care of my vision, my business, my baby, and grow it and feed it and so on and so forth? Now, the final task in this, right, in this particular video, is I need you all to write down 20 positive things about yourself, right? Matter of fact, I don't care if they're positive or negative. 20 things about yourself. Now, the reason why I'm having you guys write these 20 things down is because I want to show you that in that list, there's stuff that we're going to be able to accomplish greatly financially based off of those 20 things. I won't go into any more detail than that, other than to say write those 20 down, and we'll go back to it. Now, again, if you guys need specific help on your specific industry and specific business, you can reach out to me on my website, or email me directly, right? I'm going to be doing a Zoom meeting. I'm thinking Mondays at 6 p.m. from 6 to 7. That will be more of a Q&A. So it'll be the time where some of the stuff that we talked about in the previous video, we can discuss there. Again, this is going to be a very general synopsis, I guess, of opening up your business from scratch. But if you need specific help, you can reach out to me. All right, guys, I will talk to you all later. And you guys know, to thine own self, be true.